What's up, YouTube? This is Talking Crazy 88, back again with another episode for ya. You tuned in to the Talking Crazy 88 radio network. Today is Sunday, February 24th, the last Sunday of February. It's time for my Sunday sermon. You know what it is. You know what time it is. Let me turn this down for a minute. Ooh, where shall I begin today? Well, let's start off with the video I did last week regarding I am better than a loser because I have something to lose. And now I need to expound on this because one of my subscribers, my boy who was with me for a while, ever since I started with the Talking Crazy 83 channel, he sent me a message. Like I said, I'm not going to go deep into the message, but it just makes me feel good about what I'm doing. It makes me feel good that there are people out here that are like me who is tired of this nigger behavior that's going on that's permeating in our society, where we're being led by trash. This includes our entertainers and athletes, our rappers like Chief Keef or whoever that motherfucker is trash. Lil Wayne is trash. And I wanted to talk to you about it because I needed to expound on it, because it just seems to me that this brother, is being an example. He has standards in his life. He's being an exemplary example in his community and in his family. And it just seems like his family members, some of his family members, they want to put him down instead of uplifting him, saying, hey man, you're doing well in life. Keep on doing well. Keep being an example, because my child needs to see a role model like you, who go to work every day, take care of his family, never getting arrested, never doing anything stupid to put himself in a position where he's going to be financially dependent on the government, or allow his family to be dependent on the government. And I can understand why people like me would strike a raw nerve with some of these losers in life because you felt coddled all these years. People kept telling you you're this, that, and whatever. Oh, that's okay. You'll do better. That's okay. You don't need to have standards in your life, or this perpetual blame for on everything else that may be the cause of your problems except for yourself, instead of blaming yourself. See, not one of my videos I've ever blamed the government, my exes, my mama, my family, for any problems that I might have in my life or any issues that I might have in my life. I made those choices. I made good choices and I made bad choices. And the bad choices I've made, God forbid, God bless me, is that I didn't get into any serious trouble. I didn't have to lose my freedom because of my choices. Or I didn't lose my life or my health. I can recover from it and rebuild and reinvent myself. But I do have a lot to lose. I built up in the last 10 years a nice little career for myself. And at 39, I can't afford to let any loser talk me into doing something stupid with my life, or sacrifice everything that I've worked for to assist some loser in life. I've done it. I've done it with a stupid ass ex-girlfriend of mine who was a hoe, and she was trash. Can't help trash. You can't. There's an old saying: you can't you can't shine shit. It is what it is. So, for the brother, I don't know if you want me to mention your name or not. You know, I think, but I know you're listening. Well, let me go ahead and shout you out, Duke, my boy Duke. Keep being an example in your life, for your family, because let me tell you something. For all the trash that want to put you down, there are people like myself or people in your family that looks up to you, that sees you as an example, that sees you as somebody to aspire to be like. Let's concentrate on the people that we can help, who have potential of doing well, instead of focusing on the people who don't want anything in life, who are fine just where they are, blaming the government, blaming their baby daddy, blaming their baby mamas, blaming the white man. Let them go ahead and blame the white man. We will deal with the people who want to progress in life, who have potential to do better than me. I'm 39 years old. So anybody that's coming up, I'm going to give them the information that to help them reach the second level or even exceed my accomplishments. I want a community of people, black folks, that aspire to live for prosperity. I'm not interested in counseling prison niggers, baby mamas, baby makers, bum ass niggers. None of them. You know, we'll leave them off. If it was up to me, I would ship them all off on an island somewhere where they can't bother me. So we got to go ahead and focus on the people that have potential, the ones that have potential. Now, we can learn. I think Ray Lewis, who recently won his second Super Bowl championship with the Baltimore Ravens, beating the San Francisco 49ers. And his life, and they kept bringing up the fact of him being arrested for being involved in a double murder in Atlanta about since 1999. That was almost 13 years ago. Yeah, 13 years ago, 13, 14 years ago. And they're still bringing that up. You know, I feel for the family, but at that time, I don't know what, and until this day, I still don't know what happened. They brought up charges of members of his entourage, and they were acquitted. But one thing that I've noticed that I think he mentioned that if the people that are with me that are not in the gym, who have nothing to lose, they can't roll with me. See, and that's what I mean. You gotta leave people when you gotta leave people where they are if they're not willing to join you on your journey to prosperity. You gotta leave them right where they are. You know, they're not on your level anymore, and I'm not ashamed to say it. There are a lot of people in my family, friends and family circle that are not on my level. I hate to say it. And I'm probably not on their level either. Okay? So it kind of works both ways. I'm not interested in downgrading my life. I did it before, people. I downgraded myself to meet the expectations of one. And as a black man, you should never do that. You should never downgrade yourself. You should never allow anybody to make you feel bad for getting a college degree, for owning a business, or getting a trade and making about 6 figures, high 5 figures, low 6 figures, or high 6 figures a year. You should never be ashamed of your accomplishments. You should never allow anybody to make you feel ashamed of your accomplishments. See, that's the problem in the black community. We're always putting down someone for their accomplishments. And it works vice versa. I'm not going to put anybody down that's working at McDonald's. I can't do that because they're working. They have a job. They're working. But if you're still intent on still serving fries, then I can't help you, brother. If I give you the information so where you won't have to work fries anymore, you can probably move up to management or probably own your store. If you don't want that information from me, I can't help you, brother. You have to figure it out for yourself. I'm going to have to leave you behind. Old saying that was taught to me when I was in Alaska, when I spent the summer up in Alaska on expedition up there, and geological and meteorological expedition when I was 17 years old. But that's another video. I'm going to get into that later. But the words that I've heard is that you can either lead, follow, or get the hell out of the way. Niggers, I want you to hear this. You can either lead, follow, or get the hell out of the way. Because we know you can't lead, and you're not interested in following. So you better get the fuck out of my way. We're tired of black folks trying to prop up losers. Trying to educate people who don't want to be educated. You know, I mean, if you don't have, and black folks, please. Earlier this week, around a week and a half ago, there was some idiot rapper, Lil Wayne, who released a rap song mentioning Emmett Till's name in the song. Now, this is obvious. This is not indicative to all the young people out there who don't have a knowledge of self, who rather act like niggers, posting shit on World Star Nigger Network. I mean World Star Hip Hop. Um, um, really acting, really stuck in this low functioning, unintelligent behavior and still wallowing in it, which is the cause of some of our young people out here who are lost because they have no knowledge of self. And I had this conversation with Brother Rich, and we talked about it. We chopped it up almost 10 years ago, and we said, we both came to the conclusion that it's only going to get worse for black women, black men, and black women. It was bad 10 years ago. It's going to get worse. And it got worse. And even I'm upset with this guy, but there was no protest. No, there was no shut down his website, stop buying his CDs. No, it blew over. See, this is a perpetual nigger that wallows in ignorance. He allowed some white man up in some white man who owns the record company, and allowed this white man to tell him to go ahead and record this song. This is hot. He has no understanding of who Emmett Till is. Emmett Till was a 14-year-old boy from Chicago who was visiting his friend and family members down in Mississippi during the time of segregation. And I'm talking about vicious segregation, where you even look down or talk back to a white man, or trying to get some pussy from some white trash bitch, you're gonna be killed. And that's exactly what this boy who went down to Chicago, had no knowledge of protocol or what was supposed to go on down there, what is going on down in Mississippi. And apparently, allegedly, he was whistling at some white woman. It got back to the village white trash idiots, and they found this boy, kidnapped him, beat him until the inch of his life, and threw him in the river, where he was reported missing for 3 days until somebody found him in the lake. When they did his funeral, and I remember this very vividly, and this was around 25 years ago. There was a Jet magazine my mother had who was talking about this story, the Emmett Till story that happened in 1955. And I saw the pictures of this young boy, face unrecognizable. You could hardly recognize this boy's face. He was beaten by some white trash savages because he was whistling at a white woman. And this man had the nerve to put this man's name in some ridiculous lyrics of a song which is even more absurd. But hang on, let me go ahead and play those lyrics for you people. As a matter of fact, I'll let you listen to the news report on Huffington Post Live. Hang on for just a second.
Rap lyrics aren't known for being socially sensitive, usually, but this week, rapper Lil Wayne stepped in a hornet's nest when he included a murder victim whose death helped spark the civil rights movement in his lyrics. And the problem is, he didn't include him in a positive light. And so, let me just explain here. What he did is he made reference to Emmett Till, who was a 14-year-old boy that was brutally beaten and killed in 1955 for allegedly flirting with a white woman in Mississippi. And this really was, a touchstone moment for the civil rights movement. And these are the verses from the Karate Chop remix that was released. It says, "Pop a lot of pain pills, about to put rims on my skateboard wheels, eat that blank
Pussy.
up like Emmett Till," and the blank is a
Pussy.
female anatomy bad word. And so,
Yeah,
all his,
pussy.
People.
Let me stop this here.
Like
Let me stop this here. You see what's going on, people? You heard the lyrics, and rims on the skateboard, wheels, beat that pussy up like Emmett Till. Obviously, and this is what I was talking about last week about mind control music. They'll get you to forget everything about history, about our history. We have no knowledge of self, people. We have no knowledge of self that we allow this man, this loser. That's what Lil Wayne is. He's a loser. He may have more money than me, but he's a loser. He's an unintelligent, low-functioning nigger who has no knowledge of self, who have no common sense, no sense of history, no sense of black history. This is what people. These are the people who you're buying albums for. Him and the white man that owns Epic Records. Y'all don't protest that, but y'all want to protest Red Tails because they didn't have black women in the movie that these servicemen had affairs with. They had affairs with white women in Italy, where there's nothing but white people there. Imbeciles. Remember I told you, gang, last week, we got to separate the boys from the men. And we need black men to come up and start separating the boys from the men. Lil Wayne is a little boy. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Which leads me to a couple other things I wanted to talk to you about. I recently came across this song, which I'm going to transition into, because we're discussing people who have no knowledge of self, such as this loser, Lil Wayne. And I want you to go ahead. I'm going to put the link in the description box of this brother's YouTube page. Add to the MC. The title of the song is Modern Day Coons. And I want you to take a listen to it. I'm going to play it for you right now, but you can listen to the whole, listen to the song on his channel. I want you to check it out for a little bit. And I want you to go ahead and subscribe to him. Let him know that I'm feeling you after you hear. Well, you may like the song, you may not like the song. If you do, go ahead and hit him up. Hang on for just a second, gang.
Now come on, boys. Where's your spirit? I don't hear no singing. When you were slaves, you sang like birds. Come on, how about a good old nigger work
Say
song?
now once upon a time, not long ago, there lived some kings and some queens that had sold their souls for a little bit of money, a little bit of fame. The chains and the whips, with the whips and the chains. There's no more different world. Now you have the game. Say goodbye to the Cosby's, hello the House of Pain. Selling out the culture for some.
I'm just gonna play a little bit of it, but I want you to listen to the first song, the first part of the song. Just let it marinate. I don't want to play too much of this brother's song because it is copyrighted material, and I don't want to just use it without his permission. But But go ahead and check it. I'm going to put the whole song in the description box. Check it out. Let me know what you think. I heard the whole song, and it just sums up everything that my channel is supposed to be about. We tend to gravitate to the Atlanta Housewives, Flavor of Love, all these television programs out here that cater to cooning, acting like a fucking fool and on an international stage. Laughing stock. Black Americans have become the laughing stock of the whole world. This is how the whole world sees us. Some nigga in Shanghai, China is laughing at us right now, still doing, yeah, boy, that have an impression on how that black Americans are like this on 24 hours a day. I'm a black American, and I'm not going to let anybody who haven't been born here, who was never born here, came in the back door of some green card or being burnt or was born here by two foreigners, okay, thinking that they could take advantage of the 13th Amendment, which really was supposed to be for slavery, for slaves. Bet you guys didn't know that. No, 13th, no, not 13th Amendment. Excuse me. Yeah, 13th Amendment. Hang on for just a second. Let me find out. Let me correct myself. Hang on for a second. I apologize. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery. 14th Amendment allowed slaves to become citizens of the United States. That everybody that was born in slavery became citizens under the 14th Amendment. It wasn't meant for some beaner to come across the border to have their baby here in America and they become citizens. It wasn't meant for that. Okay? So look it up. Look up the 14th Amendment, people. 1868. It was adopted in 1868, 3 years after the Civil War and the Emancipation Proclamation, people. We can't allow our images to go out on World Star Nigger Network and expect people to have a good impression on us, on what black Americans are, or who they are. You know, the impressions of foreigners, even foreign blacks from Africa, from the islands, even from Central America, where there's nothing, where they're peasants. When they come to this country, they're peasants, but they manage to create an economy for themselves. Now, I don't have a problem with people coming to our country and making a life for themselves. That's what you're supposed to do. You have the ability to do that in this country. Whereas American blacks, we're way behind the eight ball. Okay? When it comes to white supremacy. So you want to go ahead, come off the boat thinking that you're better than us because you're living in a white neighborhood or you live amongst white people. I don't want to live amongst coons. I don't want to live around white people either. I don't want to live around all white people either. But I certainly don't want to live around Coon or Coon Town. If it was up to me, I would have a nice little piece of land all to myself. A couple of acres of land with just a couple of shotguns. If just in case anybody comes on my property, I would just shoot on sight. And I would have signs that state that. If you're not friends or family, you come onto my property, trespassers will be shot on sight. But we can't allow people to come to this country, and I'm not going to allow anybody to come to this country and disrespect me as a black American. I worked too hard, my family worked too hard to build a nice little community for themselves, a nice little life for themselves. And I'm not going to allow that to happen. I'm not going to allow anybody to come in here to disrespect me and my history. So this is why it's so important for black Americans to gain knowledge of themselves. You can't get knowledge of yourself by following around ignorant people like Lil Wayne, or running around having babies all over the place without getting married, or having a man around. It's not normal to have a household, a female-headed household, okay? Raising children, raising boys to be men. That's not the way black Americans are supposed to be operating. We're not supposed to be on welfare, government handouts. I want you to check out this sister named Star Parker. Star Parker should be an example. You know, this was a sister that was on welfare, was on poverty, used abortion as a form of birth control every time she got pregnant, and reckless with her sexual activities. She turned her life to Christ, which is fine. I turned my life to Black God. And she's doing very well for herself. Started an organization called the Center for Urban Renewal and Education, CURE. She's rubbing elbows with all the Republican politicians. You see her on Fox News or Fox Business News all the time. Delightful sister. She wrote a couple of books outlining welfare and poverty. The welfare system, how it's a joke, how it's meant to keep people down. It's meant to keep black people down. It's never meant for people to attain financial security, okay? That's why that welfare shit and that child support shit is no good for black folks, black Americans. We need to be empowering, which is going to be last but not least on my sermon tonight. The ways to empowerment is education. Now, I checked out a sister's video, right? She had talked about black colleges, should they still exist. There's an people don't realize that there's an opportunity amongst black Americans that black colleges still serve a purpose. See, when you go out to USC, Harvard, Columbia, Emory, you're going to get a kick-ass education. I'm cool with that. But how come these graduates of these elite schools, how come they're not coming back to these black colleges, right? Coming back teaching people the rules of white supremacy, how to navigate white supremacy, obtain the knowledge of self-sufficiency. See, when you go to those schools, when you go to schools like that, the elitist schools, and you wear the Georgia Tech colors, you wear the Harvard colors, you go back to the alumni reunion, and did you know that some of these schools, a lot of these elitist schools, they have a black alumni association? So it's almost like going to a black college where 100% of your alumni, some of the colleagues, somebody you graduated with who are black, you get to network and socialize with on a daily basis. Because that's what it really, because at the end of the day, your degree means something, but at the end of the day, when you go out to the real world, it's called networking. You know, these black colleges are not used as a networking tool. They get their degree and they just move on. They don't give money back. They don't give time back. They don't donate anything. They don't donate property back to the schools. Like what happened to Morris Brown. Morris Brown should never have never been allowed to become a shit pile. They lost their accreditation. Most of these black colleges are losing their accreditation. See, I used to be on that tip about don't go, because I went to a black college. Matter of fact, I went to the best black colleges in the nation, HBCU in the nation. I went to Xavier University of Louisiana, where it's a Catholic school. That's probably why they got a whole lot of money, a little bit of money. They get crumbs. It was started by Catherine Drexel back around 1915, who was a socialite, a rich socialite, who became a nun and decided to devote her time helping the poor, such as the poor minorities, such as the Indians and the blacks. So the college was actually created to teach Indians, Native Americans, excuse me. And then it just morphed into a teacher's college and then a liberal arts college over the years. And now it's probably one of the top pre-med schools. If you ever want to go to if you're ever thinking about going into medicine, go to Xavier University. They have an excellent pre-med program where they send more black students, black college graduates to medical school than any of the elite schools out there, such as Harvard, Columbia, Michigan. So if you're thinking about going to medical school, go on down there. They got a nice little research laboratory down there. They got a pharmacy school right on site. But there is opportunity for these colleges to be self-sufficient. They just have to plan. Their alumni have to come together. Their alumni have to come together and try to defray the cost of the school or do whatever, instead of just begging the federal government for money. Black colleges can be saved. Listen, I got to run. I got to cut this sermon short. But I'll be back with another video later on today or maybe tomorrow. If not tomorrow, probably next week because I'm going to be very busy. But I want y'all guys to take care, obtain knowledge of yourself. It's almost the end of Black History Month. But it doesn't stop in February. Black history is always going to be 365 days a year. Study your history, study your knowledge. Have knowledge of yourself so you won't be another little ignorant ass Lil Wayne. Well, listen, I got to run. This is Talking Crazy 88, and I am out of here, people.